What's poppin'? It's Kairos. You're entering Kairos realm in this present moment in time. We will be jumping into the art of silence. Now, I'm kind of Frenchy, so I won't be. That video won't be too long, but it's something I felt called to talk about. Just some shit that'll help others and whatnot in life. So, I was gonna make a video about sensationalism, but I was gonna title it "The World's Sickness Sensationalism." And I've been on I've been experimenting with shit to where I'm not focusing on the negatives. I trying to give light to just negative shit like that right now. I already done spent a whole lot of time dealing with that and making ways to destroy it and just putting out presentations and platforms for others to do the same. So I don't want to just focus on negativity, talking about the world's sickness and sensationalism, because it's not necessarily like just a sickness. It's something that a lot of people is lost into, and it revolves around this art of silence, in which I'll be breaking down a little bit. Because a lot of people don't ever really master silence. And you may think like them quiet spaces and just being silent, like that shit is just boring. There's no value or worth in the accumulations of being quiet. Now, when you actually look at life and when you're in the experiences of existence, when you talk about things like depression and whatnot, and just various forms of trauma that bring you to a lower state of being, when you alone and by yourself, the reason that you get these ways, or even when you around others, you start getting that way because you're not in the space of silence. Shit ain't quiet. You start getting into sensations to where shapes and forms start arising from your habituals or how you are experiencing reality, life itself. You know. Now once you're going through this shit, you got all these shapes and forms popping up, also known as words. A lot of different words, a lot of different ideals, a lot of different philosophies, a lot of different emotions and feelings tied to these words, which are just shapes and forms. It's giving life to the trials and tribulations in which you're going through, creating little monsters and whatnot from it. But that is simply oftentimes because one doesn't know how to be within silence or go into that space for themselves. That's not a practice that you upkeep. It's not something that you're necessarily you like I say, you may not necessarily look at it in the form of value or like it has worth to it. Like when stuff is silent and quiet, stuff is boring. You know, but in actualities, once you get some wisdom to that, and you just start peeping what it hit for in life yourself, silence helps you see. Silence gives you clarity. A lot of people and beings in life, they don't necessarily listen to others. So they always got thoughts, they always got words, they always got something they want to express within their head. So they always within like a currency of energy. They're not necessarily like above the tide or just the wave and vibration of existence that we're all going through. Like the energy that we all being hit by, when they get hit by the energy, it's always amounting to a word. You know what I'm saying? It's always a shape and form that they already had in their awareness that this energy just flows and acts through. Now when you're actually in a place of silence, you just see the energy for the energy rather than being lost in what is happening in life and just reacting to shit, based off your urges and impulses. When you in that aspect of silence, you got clarity. You can look around and see what's going on rather than just reacting to shit happening. Like you got to do something in an instance. And that happens because motherfuckers always be thinking about shit. Motherfuckers always, you always got some thoughts, you always got some words in your mind. You don't know how to be and just like not be thinking about shit, but still be in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, I thought somebody. You just don't know. You still are practicing like being in life. You know what I'm saying? And knowing how to just be. Because a lot of motherfuckers, a lot of people be in life and they're always trying to be something. You know, so while you're just within your space, you're trying to vibrate and resonate outside of you. You're trying to go to something external. You don't know how to be peaceful within. And that's just being within silence when shit is quiet. You don't know how to be happy within them spaces. You're not necessarily in a peaceful state of being in your life. You know? Because you always thinking about shit. You always moving. You always, resonating and trying to grasp something external. You going outside of yourself rather than it just being in silence where it's quiet. You know what I'm saying? You're not giving any of these shapes and forms any of your energy. You know what I'm saying? You're not focused on the external aspects of reality to where it's like you putting yourself here. You just being in existence, and existence is being with you. That's knowing how to sit and be within silence. And that's basically the art of it. I'm gonna go way deeper into it one day, but I just wanted to put that out here because I know a lot of motherfuckers don't peep it like that or get the sense of silence in that way. You may look at me as weird for being quiet and stuff, but I'm probably paying attention or seeing different aspects of reality that you're not. Are people just being silent and quiet? That just means they're not. I may not just be like thinking about shit in physicality. You know what I'm saying? Stuff just based on my surroundings are habituals. There's nothing to speak upon. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to do nothing immediately with my environment or what's around me. So I'm putting my energy in another place. You know what I'm saying? I'll be training my chakras and shit. I train upon silence. I try to make sure my being is peaceful. Just because we go through a lot of shit in life to where you deal with frictions, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of frustrations with just coming here in the flesh. So I practice peace, but you may see me as just being peaceful. Like, that's a little awkward because people don't really be like that. It's not something that's too normal. But that ain't something you're supposed to really give a fuck about. That's when motherfuckers see you as weird and shit, you just let them know. There ain't nothing to talk about. And then you kind of hit a person in that space of peace for themselves. Because they was probably thinking about a whole bunch of shit to talk about or stuff on their mind or whatever. You know how that type of stuff go on. To where it's like, nah, I'm just relaxing. You know what I'm saying? It's like spirits and bodies. A lot of motherfuckers be in shapes and forms to where it's like you feel like you always got to do something. You always got to, you don't know how to be comfortable with yourself. And practicing silence is a way of being comfortable with oneself. Because it's like there's nothing going on besides like you just like recognizing and having clarity over reality. But that's like a practice you gotta have nowadays rather than us just having it in like a clear sense because there's so many sensations with our senses that can get like lost and like confuted and shit to where your senses always got these shapes and forms around them. They don't got no clarity within them. It's like in all of your senses, you always got static and shit going on. And silence is like clearing that static and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Almost like cleaning your vessel in a different way. So you get to be, flushed out of all them shapes and forms and little spells that was going around. You went back into that state of being or a space of silence. Like you don't always have, like you motherfuckers not always supposed to be thinking about shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not a natural state of life. But yeah, Rosa.